Only by frozen memories. It's hard. Racing on these broken
Right, so welcome back to this part 2 of this little thing. We are literally playing, watching a little bit of. This is the next topic that's coming up. So if you guys just missed this out, we just got the live stream taken down from YouTube. No reason why. We've been copyrighted striked by someone. I don't know who would watch such a tiny channel, but that's what's just happened. So I thought I'd let you guys know. So yeah, basically that's what's just happened, and we are back over at twitch.tv. Thank God for the backup. Thank God for the backup.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, we're back over at Twitch with Crazy Holes. What's up?
Hey.
With Exodus D.
What up? It's your boy here.
And with the last and not least, the magnificent Denny's. Yes, what's up, Denny's?
What's up, boy?
Right, so we're going to continue with our conversation that we started off earlier on today's podcast. We had to cut out because we had some issues with audio, which we've managed to fix now. No more echoing. What's up? So basically, we're going to kick in back with the issue with that I'm finding with games recently is the copycats, as I like to call them. So obviously, we're going to talk about Fortnite as it's being played on the screen. So Fortnite recently has become quite big on PlayStation because it's a free game you can actually download and play. And also, personally, it just feels like a total rip-off from the PUBG genre. Now, me personally, my take on it is I don't understand how a game that no one even knew about really or hardly played all of a sudden became such a massive game on PlayStation because of PUBG not being released on PlayStation as quick as it's going to be released on Xbox or PC. Obviously PC gamers have been playing it for a while. Xbox console players are going to be playing it very soon, or I think they can play it now, and PlayStation is not expecting it for at least this summer from what I know. So it looks like Epic Games took this small little issue and decided to, you know, put Fortnite back on the map, and it looks like Fortnite has kind of taken over the PUBG scene on the PlayStation. A lot of people like it. A lot of people play it. I think probably because of the animation personally, but yeah, a lot of people are playing it. So first of all, I want to come over to Exodus D and get his personal opinion on whether he thinks Fortnite is a total rip-off of the PUBG genre. What do you think? What do you think, Exodus?
I mean, technically, PUBG is ripping off DayZ and H1Z1 because they're both battle royale games that came out way before those ones. And then just in general, just battle royale is just a genre, so it's technically just a free market, and anyone can make a game that's battle royale, and
Hmm.
like they will all have like slight differences, but they all pretty much do the same thing. It's just last man alive,
Okay. So
and
you
then
think so you don't really think it's an actual rip-off of the PUBG genre then?
I mean, if
Because
you
it's
want
a
to think
battle
about it,
royale
technically,
game, you think it's perfectly fine.
yeah, yeah, it's
Okay.
open season.
Okay. And what about you, Crazy Horse? What's your personal take on the whole PUBG scenario?
I mean, to be honest, I actually haven't played both games. I mean, like, obviously, I have watched other YouTubers and Twitch streamers like play the game.
Hmm.
So I'm pretty much a newbie to the game.
Right. What's up,
So
noob? Welcome.
oh, thanks. But in my opinion, I've seen some pretty decent videos. But
Yeah.
I just
Can you see the appeal of Fortnite over the PUBG genre?
yeah, pretty much.
Do you think it's better?
Um, I'd say, I don't know. I'm not really a fan. Since I've been watching it on YouTube and the reacting to it sort of thing, I'd say
Mm.
Fortnite is a bit too cartoonish for me. I'd say
Right. Okay.
more PUBG is a bit more,
So you prefer the
realistic.
realism of
Yeah,
PUBG over
yeah.
the animation of Fortnite. What about you, Mr. Denny's? Where do you lie on this
Well,
Fortnite
look,
rip-off of PUBG?
I've played Fortnite when I haven't played PUBG. I honestly think they kind of copied it at the late 2017s, but then
Mm.
they like developed their own system. Like they just said fuck PUBG and let's keep on going with our game.
Okay. And do you think? I mean, do you guys? I mean, I'll let anyone one of you guys jump in there. I mean, do you feel that Fortnite is gonna overtake the PUBG
Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
scene?
I really don't give any fuss about those games.
Mm.
Even I only give a fuck about Fortnite.
What about you,
I
Crazy?
only really play.
I have like sat down and actually like read about it, and
Uh,
people are two-sided. I've read up some of the comments on Twitter, and also I have watched the gameplays on
mm.
both ends really, and in the big like Fortnite and PUBG battle, obviously the weapons are the important factor. The two
Mm.
games are very different.
Yep.
Essentially you're choosing between accessibility and complexity. In
Okay.
PUBG, there's a massive variety of weapons and items, where you can
Yep.
get the cosmetic ones in the crates. But there are like more weapons and items in PUBG than Fortnite. So
Yeah.
things kind of can get a bit tricky for players who haven't played like in a military style before. You
Okay.
know,
So,
so
would you say that it's gonna be a game that's just naturally gonna become big because I
um
mean, is it just attracting two different types of people then? Like, is it like you got one set of player that's gonna go automatically to PUBG, and then you got another set of players that's gonna go straight to Fortnite?
probably I'd say so, yeah. You'd get like a 50-50 kind of thing.
Okay.
It's not one sided where one game is going to be absolutely big and then the other game just basically gets left behind in the dust.
Okay. Well, the thing is, I want to pass the question off to you guys as well. Obviously, we were on the live stream. If you guys haven't had a chance to check out Fortnite, be sure to check it out. It's free at the moment on the PS4. Looks like a pretty sick game. I've already downloaded it. I'm planning to probably play it. I'm not sure when, so don't jump in too deep. But I want to give it a try. I want to give it a chance. I have played PUBG. I'm a massive fan of PUBG. But the only thing that obviously I'm a bit pissed off about is I wish the game developer would actually release it on the PlayStation. That way we all could have a bit of fun on that on PlayStation. But like a lot of people are saying, I mean, if you jump on the Fortnite bandwagon now, you're not really going to give a fuck when PUBG comes over, because Fortnite would have taken over the whole of the PlayStation scene. To be honest with you,
Yeah, fuck
but
PUBG.
if you're looking for more of a serious kind of game, obviously, PUBG is much more serious in the way that the gameplay
Yeah.
is, and the type of people that play the game versus and I think that's a very similar thing with like Call of Duty and Battlefield. You know, in the sense that a lot of the Call of Duty guys are a little bit relaxed, but are quite fast-paced players. Whereas with Battlefield, it's more of a team effort, and everyone plays a part to get the end result. And I think this is kind of like a very similar thing. I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah. I mean,
Right. Anyway, I'll pass that off on to you guys. Let me know what you think in the comments section down below. This video will be out on YouTube, so if you are watching us on YouTube after the podcast finish, please drop a comment at the bottom and let us know what you think about the whole Fortnite issue. And last but not least, we want to jump onto this. I really wanted to finish the podcast on this a little while ago, but we didn't get a chance. But we'll see how we go, because obviously we've restarted this as part 2. We'll see how we get on. We've got this brand new PewDiePie 60 million subscriber merchandise. Now, if you haven't seen it, I will show you the PewDiePie merchandise that I'm talking about. It's literally it's insane. Let's put it that way. It's literally
It's shitty.
it's shitty. I mean, it's not a question of it being shitty. It's more the question of it's
Is
a
it
massive.
just a joke, or is it like serious? Like,
No, it's not. It's real. 60 million merch. Pewdiepie.
nice, PewDiePie. You fucked yourself again on YouTube.
So if you haven't seen it, this is what the. Let me see if we can bring something up on the screen here. No, it's not this one. Is it this one? Nope. I think it's here. Let me get this. No, it's not this one either. It's getting a free plug here. No, it's not this one either. Where's that goddamn... I saw him wearing it the other day. Here it is. Right, so this one here. So obviously amongst this, let's see if we can view the image. So if you see this amongst this actual T-shirt that I've got up here, is you can actually clearly see the hand in the middle, which is doing the AOK sign, which is like this. Now the thing I want to bring up about this is a little bit controversial. It's a little bit Illuminati hitting, but I wanted to bring it up because I just found it really interesting how he brought this particular design out. It's I mean, on this T-shirt it's not that obvious, but like he has some other shirts that is so plain and shows it for what it really is, which I found quite interesting. And the thing I found quite interesting about this 60 million subscriber merch is this sign. This sign, a lot of people know if you follow conspiracy theories or if you watch any conspiracy theory videos, this sign is the 666 sign, which makes the 666. And that shirt, that logo that's on that shirt is this sign. And the purpose isn't for me to talk about whether PewDiePie is part of the Illuminati or not. It's irrelevant. That bit is not the point. The point is YouTube pushing forward creators who are willing to show that side of, I don't know, whatever it is, that controlling power in order to, and then their videos, their commentary, their whatever it is, gets pushed forward onto everybody else, rather than those who are a lot smaller, who are not as controversial, don't do, want to speak about certain things or game a certain way, or don't really promote their merchandise in a certain fashion, don't get promoted or don't get pushed or don't get to grow because we're not willing to fit the agenda of whatever this is supposed to represent. Because you could just easily write the 60 million subscriber t-shirt. I mean, the guy doesn't even need to make money, to be honest with you, from this shit, because he makes enough money just from one video. But why use this sign? And is that I mean, even with the Logan Paul issue, like we spoke about this earlier on in today's podcast, he done a suicide video, and the repercussions for him was just to have taken off YouTube Red, and then to have his Google AdSense preferred to be taken off that. That's it, nothing else. Whereas people like myself and Denny's, who is also a YouTuber, we have had to try and find, under how small our channels are and how many views we accumulate per video, we had to find people to watch our content so we could hit 4,000 views. Otherwise, we would be facing worse. We'd be facing demonetization fully. All of that shit taken away. I was being faced with having my channel taken down completely because of its irrelevancy as far as YouTube is concerned. But really, the platform is designed for anyone to be able to broadcast themselves. It's not necessarily what level or what quality your content is, or because quality content, what I've realized of doing YouTube for so long now, is it doesn't actually mean anything, because what someone might find interesting, someone else will find totally shit. And it bounces both ways. People might look at my content and think it's absolutely rubbish. Why do I even watch this guy? Someone else will watch my content and go, I love this stuff. This is great. This is new. This is fresh. And it's the same for the whole of the YouTube community. But YouTube govern who gets to go up the ladder, as it were, and who gets to stay dormant. I mean, some creators haven't even moved ever off their start grid. They're still there, still making content, trying to get their names onto YouTube. And some people, you think, how the fuck did you even make that many subscribers? But YouTube are putting their videos in prime locations so people will naturally see their content. So the thing I want to pass off to the guys who are with me today is, what is happening? Is this an underlying thing that YouTube are promoting certain YouTubers and not promoting others because they're willing to push an agenda, a hidden agenda under the microscope that no one else is paying attention to? I want to bring this question off to Crazy Holes to begin with. Crazy, what's your opinion?
I mean, yeah, I totally understand where you're coming from. The whole 666 sign, is a bit odd. Like, why would you put the, that kind of sign? You could have easily done a different kind of logo, or, a different kind of design, really. But no, I mean, obviously, I do agree with the whole thing, and as well, on the T-shirt, what is the whole deal with the 0 deaths? I mean, what is that all about? I mean,
Exactly. What is that all about?
what is the whole? And the thing is that it's like got a grave, like a headstone,
Yeah.
like 2 coffins, like, and it looks like the hand is dripping down with like blood drips.
Blood. Yeah.
What is that? Like, what?
It's totally bizarre.
I just,
Exodus, what's your take on it? We'll come back to you,
Yo.
Crazy. What's your take on this, Exodus? Have you had a chance to check out these
um,
t-shirts? I mean, I'm showing them on the screen as best as I can. I mean, this one I'm displaying right now with PewDiePie's face on it. You can
Yeah.
clearly see on this image the hand is holding the straight up 666 on the front left chest. You know, I mean, it's literally
Yeah.
there. You can't miss it. You can't deny it. You know, on the back, fair enough, it's
No.
hidden behind all these other writing and design and whatever. But on the front, it's obvious. It's there for you to see. So, what do you think?
For sure. I mean, honestly, it's very clear that it exists because I'm looking at a picture and I'm looking at another picture right now where it's PewDiePie holding up the 666 too. Like, it's
Yeah,
not just
I've seen
him,
that one.
it's
Yeah,
actually him doing it. And
yeah, I've
then
actually seen.
I was,
I think that's there's this one here of him doing it, and then there's
yeah,
this one here as well of him doing it. And you know, he claims it to be the 0 deaths, but I mean, everybody knows. I mean, look, I mean, flashing your hand like
why
that
don't
is
you
just not
just,
going to help.
why don't you
It's
just
not going to
do
help
zero with
your
all your
cause.
fingers down then?
Exactly.
Like,
I mean,
no one does a zero with just 2 fingers. Like, every time I do a zero, I always do all of them.
I mean, exactly.
Like,
It's just suspect.
yeah. He's
What about you,
just,
Dennis?
he's,
Oh, Dennis. Hello. I think he's fallen asleep again. Dennis. We'll come back to you, Exodus. Then he's gone to sleep.
uh, shoot, I
Podcast
forgot
number
what I was
2. Dennis
saying.
just easy falls asleep. Hello, everyone. Right, yeah. Sorry, Exodus.
I forgot what I was gonna say, to be honest.
Okay, we'll
I
go.
was
We'll
gonna
jump to
say
Crazy. I know
something.
Crazy's got some bits to say. Okay, Crazy. What about you? What did you want to? I'll come back to you on it.
yeah, I mean, like, I'm confused with it all, to be honest. I mean, yeah, great. You're gonna make, like, merch for when you're hitting 60 million, but the whole, the whole 0 deaths thing, I just don't get. I mean, I just don't get it. I mean, is the whole, in
Well,
my,
I mean, this picture that I'm showing right now on the screen, you can actually clearly see it's the front of the T-shirt or of the merchandise that he's selling, and it's clear. It's a clear hand held up with the 360s, the AOK, and everyone knows when you hold this sign up what it means. Like, if you're part of the, if you know anything about conspiracy theorists, this is a very well known AOK, and we know what that stands for. So, why would you put that on? Is that just to stir the controversy? Is that like to kind of provoke the same reactions as you get from,
mm,
say, Logan Paul and his suicide video, and then having to apologize for it afterwards? You know,
mm.
even though you consciously would put a video up with someone's dead body in it, is this the same kind of thing? Is it just trying to stir the water just to make it muddy so that people just talk about his merch so that he'd be able to sell more of it or whatever?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the other thing I don't get is like, what's with, like I said, what's with the coffins? What's with the headstone? What's with the 0 deaths? Is that supposed to mean? Is that supposed to mean no one's gonna take you down, sort of thing? Is that a kind of?
Yeah, I mean the coffin thing that Crazy Hole's talking about is this particular one here. that he's got out as well, which is and obviously PewDiePie has to approve all of these, and it's a very very strange merchandise. I mean, I know if I push merch like that on my channel, I get a lot of questions, like what the hell am I, what am I pushing, you know? And yeah, it's a very strange merchandise that they're doing. Exodus, is there anything you want to add to this before we move on?
Yeah, I was gonna say like knowing like PewDiePie and how much of a troll he is, like he could just be doing the 666 thing on purpose,
Mm,
just to like
mm.
just to like stir up some shit.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, I haven't heard many people talking about it, but I just saw one of his videos the other day, and I saw him wearing his merch, and I was like, is that the AOK sign that he's doing? Is it the AOK? And then I was like, oh my god, it is the he actually is doing the AOK. So I just had a little bit of research into it, and I was like quite surprised to find all this stuff on his AOK. So that was something very very weird. The other thing we want to talk about is corporation. Something that Crazy Holes is. I'm going to leave her to take a lead on this anyway, but is about corporate charities and giving. So, as you guys know, there's a lot of people out there who do a lot of charity events, raising money for charity, raising money for people in need, and and we're talking mainly about big charity companies, not necessarily the small charity companies, but the bigger ones. And what we sort of spoke about is where does all this money go, and does it go all of it to the needy, to the people who is apparently being the money's being raised for. But I'm going to hand this one over to Crazy Holes. This is her reins to take on the today's podcast. So Crazy, tell us a bit more about what it is about this corporate charities and the giving side that concerns you, and you wanted to talk about this on today's podcast.
Well, I mean, well, where do I start, really? I mean, you know, when you see these people out on the streets, you know, holding these sort of bucket things and saying, oh, yeah, you know, pay some donation, blah, blah, blah. It goes to this charity or this charity. And, you know, over the years, you know, they've done the, what's it called? The raising children in need, and the Pudsey, the yellow bear with the bandana over the eye? That is children in need.
Pudsey,
Yeah.
children in need, but Pudsey, yeah.
Yeah, you know, and they do all that, and they raise millions and millions and millions every single year. And, you know, where does all these millions go? Because the thing is, they earn these millions, and, you know, they say in abbreviation that the money goes to them, but the countries are not getting anywhere. You know, if the money was being spent, the countries wouldn't still be in this situation from when
In terms of being poor.
Yeah, they wouldn't be. They wouldn't be in the same situation as they were now than they were before. You know, I just feel.
So do you think that they're stifling the money somewhere? I mean, for there to still be such a massive level of poverty in these sort of deprived countries that they obviously normally raising money for, is this money just, you know, what is it? Where is this money actually going then? Do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I feel the only main charities I believe that are actually being charities and not just funding out of our pockets just for their entertainment. The only ones that I feel are more like a decent kind of charity is obviously the British Heart Foundation, Cancer Research UK.
Yeah.
You know, you've got the Salvation Army. You know, they're the three main charities, I believe. Oh, and the NSPCC, which is obviously for the children. I believe they're the type of charities that I feel that are more kind of like a charity and not just a money raiser kind of thing.
Okay. What about you, Exodus? Where's your take on this? On corporate
Okay.
charities and giving to them?
Honestly, I don't really do anything with charities unless I honestly believe what they do is real and not just to, as pretty much was saying, not just to fund themselves, but actually like fund where it's supposed to go.
Okay. Okay. So do you think then do you believe that charities do try to do the good thing and help? I mean, do you think like
No,
the
no,
amount? I mean,
no.
I don't know statistics in terms of the kind of money we're looking at here. I mean, I could just do a quick little Google search. I mean, how much money was raised? Oh God, no, not that. How much money was raised for charities? 2017. Oh, and we'll get a number. Obviously, it's. Oh wow, is that real? No, that's not what I was looking for. That's not really giving. Let's see. This is a good one. There's not really much on the. See, like, I mean, this is a good point. I mean, obviously, like, Crazy Hole saying about Cancer Research UK, for example, her believing in that kind of charity, but yet the chief executives of Cancer Research UK, earn in excess of £240,000 a year. While the CEO of the NSPCC earns £162,000 a year. So obviously, a lot of those contributions that are made are banking a lot of these CEOs more than £200,000 a year for those who have created and made these charities, and obviously your donations are obviously paying some way in the form of their wage. What do you think about that, Crazy?
Well, yeah, that just pretty much explains it all. I mean, obviously, I know that some charities are a non-profit organization, so
Yeah.
some charities need the money to be able to pay for events, you know, pay for, you know, to actually pay their employers, you know, to actually, you know, pay for other things that are like, you know, relevant to the charity itself.
Yeah.
You know, I can understand that part. You know, obviously you're going to need money to do those things to be actually make the charity what the charity is.
I mean, is it wrong? Do you think it's wrong that a charity would like for people who, because obviously people there are volunteers and there are people who are actually paid who would have maybe created or made or invested their time and their resources in making these charities come to life. Do you think there's something wrong in them taking some of those donations and actually paying themselves a salary from those donations?
I mean, yeah, I mean, slightly. I mean, I haven't exactly researched a lot on it, but I just find over the years, you know, I just find it has got, you know, a little.
Do you think there's just too many charities?
Yes, way too many.
And maybe they should all just pull together and just work for one cause, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, because you have like charities for like, you know, the kids, and then you have the charities for like adults, and then you have charities for like, you know, the animals, and then you have charities for so many different departments. And, you know, but then those departments turn into smaller departments, and then there's like thousands of the same thing.
Yeah.
So
What about you, Exodus? What's your take on that? I mean, do you think someone who created a charity should be allowed, or shouldn't feel any guilt in taking some sort of salary on the donations that are made to their charity?
I mean, I feel like there should be certain companies that work with charities that pay the employers and stuff, so all the donations go just to the charity and not to the people that work for the charity, but have companies like sponsor them and stuff to give them the money they need to pay everybody.
Mm, mm. Well, that's been really interesting. I mean, if you guys are obviously joining the conversation late, or if you guys are watching this back on YouTube at a later time, please be sure to drop us something in the comment section down below, and let us know what you think. What's your personal takeaway on corporate charities and the giving methods, in terms of, you know, where do you stand where it comes to people actually paying themselves a salary through your donations, or whether it's okay, it's not a problem. You know, everybody's got to live, everybody's got to eat. What's your takeaway on it? I mean, obviously, quoting some of the top CEOs from big organisations like Cancer Research UK, taking 240,000 as a salary, is that a little bit excessive for a charity? Let us know in the comments down below. We're going to probably move over to another little small story that was brought up by Crazy Holes and Tara on the last podcast, which was money and why is there not enough of it going around. So this topic was quite interesting. I found it quite an interesting topic to bring up in today's podcast, and it's basically about, if we took all of this was something that I found out, you can actually Google this, but if you took all of the world's wealth, all of it, and you gave everyone, which is about 7 billion people, over not far from 8 billion people, 1 million each in their home currency, everybody be a millionaire. So starting with that, I'll bring Exodus D into this. Crazy Horse can jump in after this. I know she's got a lot to say on this particular topic. So Exodus, what do you think? Where is all the money, and why have you taken all of it?
I mean, all the money just with all the fucking rich ass people that don't have to worry about anything. Whereas people like us, aka just normal civilians, have to worry about for the people that are like not super poor but like kind of poor, they have to worry about like when's my next meal gonna be, or when can I get my kids what they want next. But people that are rich and shit, they think like, okay, I can just eat caviar and filet mignon all day and not have to worry about going bankrupt. But then at the same time, if each like million and billionaire gives everyone $1 million, they would still have $15 million still left for themselves. In my opinion, every like really rich person is being super selfish, and I don't appreciate that.
Do you think it's a question of they don't want to make everybody the same as them?
Probably.
Why do you think that'd be an implication? Why is that? Why would that be a problem?
Because then to them being a millionaire wouldn't be as like as success, like being if everybody got $1 million and they didn't really like become successful for it, they would think that how they got their millions would be like
Mm,
less hardworking than if everybody just got $1 million.
okay. Crazy. This is
Yeah.
your favorite topic. This is something that you and Tara were speaking about in particular, quite vocally about it. Tell us a little bit. What is your takeaway on this money problem, and where the hell has it all gone?
You know, having enough money is not an issue. There can't be a shortage of money. And, if there was, it is probably not what would cause or prevent starvation or safe housing or healthcare.
Mm,
I think what, everybody is looking for is, are there enough sufficient forces to result in the supply and higher demand that provides enough jobs for the right mix of training and abilities that every individual person has, that everyone wanting a job can have a job because there's so many jobs going around.
mm,
When you go to a job interview, there's always more people than there is more spaces.
mm,
And the lowest paying job is enough to house and feed a person, but those that are unable to work, the government, um, and the charities, all the charities, have
mm,
sufficient resources to provide temporary financial assistance.
mm.
It's kind of a question upon a question kind of thing, you know?
So, do you think giving everyone 1 million would
Yeah.
solve the problem?
I mean, the thing is, though, the question is, if you gave everyone 1 million, after about a week, I'd say probably it'd be all gone. Because in this day and age now, people are greedy. And, it's fact. People are, you know, people want more than less, really,
Mm,
People wanna have a nice life, they wanna live in a decent house, they wanna have that nice big backyard, or like, they wanna have that pool, with their fancy cars at the front, so
mm.
they can have their kids running around and to sit at a nice 8-seater dining table with a flat
But
screen
don't you think that
TV.
would by giving everyone those things that they would want, wouldn't that just take away the novelty of it, the actual, the need of the greed to accumulate these things? Because once you have it, you don't really. I mean, we could take a simple look at GTA 5 in this example. It's quite ironic. I can actually bring something like that to it, but if like with the PS3, as we all know, it's quite easy to get modded money on a PS3. All you got to find is the right server with the right person in it, and they could be handing out billions and billions of GTA dollars and making everybody rich in the game. But what a lot of people who have a lot of money in the game, me being one of them, is that it makes the game quite boring because there's nothing to do once you've bought absolutely everything in the game. You're
Yeah,
left with this longing of what's your purpose? What's the point of the game? Because obviously Rockstar made the game in order for you to strive and struggle to make those pennies here and there in order to be able to afford that big house or afford that car or whatever. And the more effort you put in, the more you get out. Which is why they've become so harsh on the PS4. And you see on the PS4, people are always playing that game and always playing missions that make the most money because they're trying to make that money to buy whatever it is they're looking at next because they've seen so and so with whatever car or house or outfit or whatever it is. And isn't that like kind of resents true to real life to a certain degree?
Mm.
What do you think?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, see, this type of question probably can go round and round in circles, literally, because, you know, some people would maybe agree on giving everyone $1 million. See, I know some people would be like, you know, go on holiday, you know, or save it up for things that are essential. But then I know some people that would be like, yeah, I'm just gonna grab this, and this, and not think about it, and just go with the flow sort of thing.
Yeah.
So,
What about you, Exodus? What do you think? Can you see the comparison with
I
GTA
mean,
if that happened in real life?
for me, it would because I wouldn't really spend too much of that. I pretty much just spend it on probably the PS4, maybe a car and a house, and then save the rest of it for the absolute necessary.
Yeah. Well, anyway, this was a very interesting topic, and I think this is a topic which can go on for absolutely ages, as Crazy Holes clearly
It could, for sure.
made point. I mean, the
Going
thing
for
is, the money issue is always going to be an issue because there's always going to be those that have and those that are the have-nots. And really, I want to pass the question off to you guys. Really, if you're watching this video after the stream's finished, drop something in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Where do you stand on the current money situation? Do you think everyone should get $1 million and or £1 million or $1 million, whatever it is, and that would solve their problem? Or is it too much of a temporary solution? And are we just as a creation designed to be greedy? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. That'd be great, and I look forward to reading those later on. And last but not least, we move on to the final segment of today's podcast. We have finally arrived, and that is at this brand new Japanese firm. There's this new Japanese firm in Japan who are going to start using drones to send overtime workers home, because apparently there's a massive epidemic in Japan of people overworking themselves to the point of death, that they are having to implement drones in store which play a particular type of music in order to escort people out of their job roles. And the music that a lot of people are asking what kind of music is that they play, and the music that they play in Japan when the stores are closing. There's a song that they play every time, which indicates to the public that this store is actually closing now. And it's a similar track that they're going to be using to actually let the workers know that they should be going home now, which is quite bizarre and it's quite fascinating. I mean, this was something that was brought up by Crazy Holes as well. And the interesting thing is that people are actually working themselves to death. They're overworking themselves on their overtime and don't actually want to go home. To me, that's extremely puzzling. I mean, that doesn't make any sense to me, to be honest. I mean, I'm sure everybody must have a social life, a life outside of work. And obviously, the question I really want to pass on to Exodus D next, no, actually, on to Crazy Holes, is are they really that insane over there?
I mean, pretty much, you know. Some people, some people are that crazy. You know, they have their work culture. I mean, it's hard because the thing is that China and Japan, they all have the longest working hours in the world, basically. And, you know, I mean, the government are calling to do more, and I feel probably the drone would help, but then I suppose.
I mean, don't you think it draws a question of why are people having to work 18-hour shifts in order to just fund their living? Or is it something? Is it something more sinister in the sense of they're like drones themselves? They're like droids. Just finishing. They got to finish a task and that's it. There's nothing else that comes in between that.
I mean, it could be another case of they might not want to be at home due to issues, or maybe they might have sick parents, or who need the medication, and their child or their children, they're their only way of surviving, or so basically some people might go to that length to to um to help them live, basically. But then on the other factor is that they have to think of themselves, but in their culture, I suppose they're just all work and no rest kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's sad, and it's been around since the 1960s. So and the, ever since the 1960s, the death toll has been rising. So yeah, I mean in
excuse me. Yeah.
in Japan, they have a word for it, which is called karoshi, which is the Japanese term to describe death attributed to overworking. And
Really?
yeah,
Incredible.
yeah, but no, I was reading a story of a woman who lost her son to karoshi, and he was at a Japanese telecom company when he left college, and he loved computers, and seemed like a great opportunity in the graduate job market. But then 2 years later, things started going wrong, and basically he was lying to his mum and saying that he'd been busy and he was okay, and he unfortunately he did come home for his father's funeral, and because he'd worked so hard, he couldn't get out of bed, and he was telling his mum, let me sleep for a while, I can't get up, sorry, but just let me sleep. Later on, she found out from colleagues that he'd been working around the clock to help his mum.
Incredible.
Yeah. And
so I mean that's just incredible.
yeah.
That's mad. That's mad. Exodus, what about you? What do you think about this using drones to get people to go home? Do you think this is a issue that's only lied with Japan, or is it something that's coming over here?
I mean, I've heard stories of people out here that like work so much that like they sleep just for days because they've been working so hard. But I feel like mainly in Japan it's a problem because I've also heard stories in Japan of people like playing video games for so many hours straight that they die.
Really?
We're playing video games at like a internet cafe for like 30+ hours without leaving, and then they end up dying or just
Jesus.
passing out.
Incredible. I mean, this has been a really really interesting topic. I mean, it's a fascinating story, and I mean, Crazy Hole brought this to my attention, and I thought it was a bloody incredible story to talk about on today's
I think it's
podcast. And
amazing.
obviously, I mean, obviously, I want to pass the story off to you guys. I want to pass the question off to you guys. What do you guys think about this whole Japanese firm to send overworking employees home by nagging them with blaring office drones? I mean, is it a problem that's coming our way? Are we heading in the same direction? It's interesting. It's a challenging thing to think that there's a country fully developed that is having to send workers home because of them overworking themselves. I mean, who would think of it? But I want to say a massive thanks to my guest today on today's podcast. Massive shout out goes out to Dennis Yasizi. Is he still here? Dennis? I think he's gone to sleep. I really have. He's fallen asleep again on today's podcast. He's going to kick himself when he sees this tomorrow. Exodus D. Big shout out to you. Thank you for joining us today. As always, it's awesome to have you with us. Oh, he's just logged back out. He'll probably log back in a second. Yep, here he is. Massive shout out to Exodus D. What's up, Exodus? Thank you for today being the guest today on today's podcast. Hopefully we'll see you soon in the future as well. So, anything you want to say before we clock off? Oh, his mic's not working. Maybe the same thing with Denise. Well, I've only got one person left to say thank you to, and that's obviously Crazy Hole 95 for finishing off today's live stream, today's podcast. Thank you for being a guest today on today's show, and I would just like to say thanks for bringing some of these stories to my attention so we could bring it to your attention on today's podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed today's podcast. Any last words from you, Crazy?
No, but thanks for letting me join.
Okay, well, we are going to start a new segment on the podcast where everyone who joins the podcast can actually have their say of how they actually found my channel, how they found me as a YouTuber on this massive platform. And we'll finish off with Crazy Hole's little story of how she found out about Tamin 25 and the T4 Army.
Well, well, you know, I'd say it was about November 2016, I do believe. I can't remember exact year. I think it was around that time. Yeah. And pretty much I was just, browsing around because, I have the PS3. So, I was just like, I'm kind of just getting bored of just not having much friends on the PS3. So I just kind of just searching around, GTA 5, PS3.
There we go.
As you do.
Yeah, as you do, seeing if all any live streamers were streaming, and then I saw your stream and I thought, cool, okay, I'll watch you for a bit and then realize that you were from the UK, and then soon as I clicked on, noisy and loud and just hilarious. And it was so funny. I was just like, wow. I was just like, this guy, I thought this guy was just making me laugh within 5 minutes. And I thought, yeah. I was just like, well,
And she's been here ever since, everyone. She's been here ever since. Well done, Crazy. Well done.
Yeah.
Well done. Good storytelling. Good storytelling. Exodus D, are you back with us?
Yo, yes.
You are. Right. Exodus, thank you for being a guest today on today's podcast. Any final words from you before we clock off?
I don't. I do, but my mind is just going blank right now. I don't know why.
Okay, so as your mind's going blank, and before you run out of all those memories that you've got inside that bank of yours, I'm gonna probe a little bit, and I'm gonna ask you to tell us the amazing, fantastic story of how did you find Tamim 25 and the T4 Army in this vast empire of YouTube, Twitch. Tell us your story.
Okay.
So, to start off, before I actually found you, I was actually my knees were all like fucked up and shit. So for like 6 months beforehand,
Hold on, your mic's gone a little bit funny.
like 6 months beforehand, I couldn't really walk or do anything.
I have no idea what's just happening.
God damn it!
Something's happened to your mic, dude.
Hold on.
Please wait for this important broadcast. We're having technical difficulties here at the T4 Army Studios. Your normal
I'm gonna have
broadcast
to do this.
will
My shit's
continue.
fucking up.
Okay, go on quickly before it fucks up all the way.
So yeah, so before I started watching you, I wasn't walking for about 3 or 4 months, and then I was like, and then all my friends were in school and stuff. So I'm like, let me just go through Twitch and stuff and see if I can find anyone that's doing like an open lobby on GTA 5. I go and you're like the second one to pop up, and then I remember you were talking to another new person, and then they're like, if you want to play with me, just subscribe to my YouTube channel and add me on PlayStation. So then, like 2 seconds later, that's when I was like, oh shit, this is my chance. So then I did it, added you, and then ever since then, it's just been this, and then I've been watching,
been an
like, and then when I got
insane
my first knee surgery, I was watching you in the hospital, and I remember writing a comment on it, like, I wish I could play with you, but I'm in the hospital, damn it.
And then we found out about your knee surgery, and I was like, Jesus Christ, dude is an absolute
Hell yeah.
legend, hockey legend and a half. Right, Denise, are you still there?
Nope.
If you are, we can't hear a word you're saying. Right, okay, we did have Dennis Yasizi with us. I can't quite remember his story, but I'm sure he will be a guest again in the future, and he'll be able to tell us how he found Tamim 25 and the T4 Army here on this vast empire field of YouTubers over at YouTube.com and at twitch.tv. I just want to say finally a massive thank you to all of you guys for joining us on today's little podcast. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Sorry we had to split this into 2 parts, but that's just how the story goes sometimes. We had an issue with echoing earlier on, and I hope this is fixed now. But we'll be back again tomorrow. Don't forget to join us for tomorrow's live stream. We'll be here bright and early for the GTA 5 Live PS4 live stream. We should be here about 9 p.m. GMT, so be sure to be here or be square for that live stream. We'll be here. What time? No, we won't be here at 9 p.m. Sorry, I just had to confirm that. It might be a lot later. It might be 10 p.m. or even later than that. I'm not sure. But we will be here, hopefully. So be sure to tune in for that. We'll be on GTA 5 Roleplay tomorrow on the PS4. So be sure to join us for that. If you play on the PS4, head over and join us for some cops and robberies. And other than that, we're back on, obviously, Super Sunday is coming up for us this Sunday. As always, if you want to be with us on the PS3 live stream, be here for Super Sunday. We should be here nice and early for you. We'll be playing our GTA 5 roleplay as always. It's expanding. It's getting bigger. Be sure to join us for that. It's going to be pretty epic. I was hoping to have a brand new level made for you guys, but it looks like that's cancelled at the moment because of some technical difficulties with our designated modder for the T4 Army. but hopefully we'll have something for you guys very soon. So be sure to be here or be square. But other than that, I just want to say finally a massive shout out to all of the sponsors who sponsor the channel. Big shout out goes out to obviously Since Gaming, Fatal Grips, CD Keys, G2A.com, and not forgetting my favorite place, the merch shop. That's right. Be sure to go check yourself some awesome T4 Army t-shirts and merchandise so you guys can be all geared up for the live streams coming up your way very, very soon. But apart from that, guys, we'll be back again next week with more podcasts for you next Friday. Brand new topics, brand new conversations for you and for me to get involved with. If you guys want to get in on the podcast and you want to be a chosen guest, all you got to do, follow me at twitch.tv, follow me over here at youtube.com, and be sure to drop a comment over at Discord that you want to be part of the podcast and you can get involved. It's as simple as that. But until then, guys, as always, stay safe, stay awesome, and peace.